face to face and finding out the wonders in life. Tune in to see who's in the chair, that's been a surprise.
Who's in the chair today? Ta-da! Oh my gosh, it's Casey Kaplan is in the swing. Welcome to Kahlo.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking time out of your day.
Absolutely.
I know you're a busy woman. And for those of you who may not know, Casey is the president of Bedford New Canaan Magazine. This is the new hot issue, the summer issue, that's out now, which we're going to talk a little bit about.
Yeah. Chris Russo on the cover.
Yes, I was just going to say that. So what I love is, much like Who's in the Chair, you know, we live in a beautiful area of the world where there are all kinds of interesting people and walks of life, and I never know who's going to come through my door, and so that's why we're always like, well, let's spin the chair and meet new people and see who's in the neighborhood. And that's what this magazine is like too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is sort of an iteration of the same kind of a thing.
Yeah.
We're so blessed to live in a place where there are so many fantastic people and things going on, and just such a richness of culture. And we get to be exposed to so much. And so our purpose is really to just kind of expose that and let people meet each other, at least proverbially.
Let's just back up for a moment, right? Because it used to be Bedford Magazine and now it's Bedford New Canaan.
Sure.
So when did your family take this over?
So I came home. I was living in New York City during COVID. And I was doing international development for a tech company. And nobody was at the house. COVID started. I figured I was too old for St. Patrick's Day anyway. And I loaded up a car with a bunch of friends, came up to Pound Ridge, and essentially never left. So Bedford Magazine had come up for sale around the end of May of 2020. I was still here in Pound Ridge. My parents had come back by then.
You grew up in Pound Ridge?
I grew up in Pound Ridge. And we were kind of all one big happy family living in the house together during COVID. And my dad had been writing for what was Bedford Magazine and had, almost as a spoof in his retirement, become the lead features writer and was loving doing it, but it was just this side hobby. And so we get this call from the former editor, Jennifer Stahlkrantz, that the magazine's for sale and sort of, would we be interested? And we sat down at dinner that night, and my reaction was, print is dead. So obviously, fast forward, the long and short of it is we looked into a little bit more, got more serious, and sort of considered what we could actually do with the existing publication, Bedford Magazine, which was great and had this loyal following of 16 years. And could we take that and really springboard it into the era that Bedford proverbially, you know, I say Bedford because it's really all encompassing for the larger area, but that Bedford has become, and especially during COVID, while this area was just booming. I mean, houses were flying off the market. And for us, it was a no-brainer to expand to New Canaan when we did this. We live here in Pound Ridge. Obviously, we're right here on the border. And New Canaan is just as much our town as Pound Ridge or Bedford has always been. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
I went to Fox Lane. I live right here, but Fox Lane was a half an hour away. Mount Kisco's 35 minutes. And so as much as we've always spent our lives going there and doing things, you know, on that side of the line, New Canaan's our town. And so we felt like there was this arbitrary state line that was sort of causing this fake lack of connection, really. And we wanted to bridge that divide. Here in Pound Ridge, I mean, we're at this really interesting crossroads of sort of our entire readership. And so, I mean, you know better than I, but Pound Ridge gets a lot of traffic from sort of every facet of this community.
So it's really great. I love how you definitely have done that. And it is chock full. So even though, you know, the cover reflects one personality, then when we get to sort of the editorial well back here, we see this amazing exhibit at the Jean Jacobs Gallery, which I know a lot of my audience has heard me talking about lately, because I've just discovered it thanks to you. When this magazine arrived, I mean, I'm a huge art lover, so I do a lot here with art. My mother-in-law is an artist. So my home is filled with art, as I'm sure yours probably is. But this stopped me in my tracks.
Yep.
Right? Just the art alone. But then when you read the article, I mean, Sophia is 18 years old.
It's pretty incredible.
Which is incredible.
Yep.
So how did Sophia get on your radar?
So we're also big art people.
Mhm.
Both of my parents were art history majors. My dad was the #1 art history student ever at Vassar at the point that he went there.
Mhm.
And so we've always been surrounded by art, interested in art, and sort of participating in as much of the art world as we possibly can.
Mhm.
So we kind of constantly kept a pulse on the galleries locally, went into them, we're talking to gallery owners. We got involved with Heather Gaudio in New Canaan, really got to know her and her work. And so we were really excited when Jake from Jean Jacobs came on the scene. And we had been sort of peeking around his gallery and popping our heads in there every now and then. He probably got to know us by face, but not by name. And last, I don't know, November, let's call it, there was a painting in the front window, sort of during he had a different collection of different artists at one time. And there was a painting in the front window that really caught our eye. And we went in with the intentions of purchasing or talking about that piece. And it turned out that it was one of Sophia's pieces. And so we sort of started talking to Jake about who this was, because we were really just excited about it.
Yeah.
And he told us about basically the background. I don't know if you've already talked about it with this audience, but that she was 18, and that at the time she was actually 17. That she was completely unexposed. You can read about this in the article. She's never been to a proper museum.
Yep.
She's never had an art history class. She's taken high school art, and that's really it. So we were amazed. We felt like we were getting in early on this sort of exciting thing. And we became collectors, actually some of her first, last December or January. The piece that we were enthralled by actually had been Sophia's first sale, and it was to Jake, the owner of Jean Jacobs. He is not willing to let that piece go and probably never will, and he has a great eye, so I think he's made a good decision. And so we've become collectors of Sophia's, and over time got to kind of get to know her a little bit, and decided that this was just a perfect thing to start talking about in the magazine. Because we have this platform, let's use it for good. And so let's promote this rising, fabulous, young, minority, female, 18-year-old kid who has this tremendous amount of talent, who is showing here locally. And B, we thought it was just a great story.
Yeah.
So we did just that. And I think that this article has kind of proven exactly what we're trying to accomplish and are accomplishing with the magazine. And that is that this is working. Jake's opening night, opening reception for Sophia 2 weeks ago at the gallery was full.
Awesome.
We started doing this at exactly the right time, when there was a renewed focus and shift to local, and specifically to this area. We estimate that somewhere between 30 and 40% of the overall population of this readership has shifted or turned over in the last 2 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so there's a lot of new people here that don't know where they're going yet.
Right, it's a source of information for them.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And so those people devour everything that we're putting out and are writing into us and are talking about, how excited they are that they found out about everything from a new artist to a new hair salon to a new store to come shop at.
Yeah.
If you live in North Salem, there's really not much to do there.
Right.
But if you haven't sort of figured out that you need to drive over to New Canaan or Pound Ridge, or if you don't even really know that those places necessarily exist, or what's there, this is largely your source of information.
Yes.
So there's that group of people, but then there's also the, people that have lived here for 20, 50 years, that might not know that Chris Russo, the Mad Dog, is their neighbor.
Right, exactly.
Or who know that Martha Stewart lives down the street, but really don't get to know much about her other than what's in the tabloids and, on major media. And who have been dying to get into the fabulous house down the street for years that they've always admired from the road. On and on and on.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to do just that, sort of connect people that are new and old in this area to each other, to the community, in a way that's positive.
Right.
We're the hour and a half that you spend every other month being happy and feeling good about yourself and where you live and where you've decided to raise your family and plant your roots. And so we want to focus on the good in the world and in our area. And so that's what we're doing.
That's what you're doing, and that's why I love you. Because so when you're not doing that for the other hour and a half, and we hope that you also will come and check out Kahlo, where we hope to bring good vibes and make people happy.
You do just that.
Lots and lots and lots.
I think you're doing a lot of that.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I really obviously look forward to this issue, this magazine, when the new issues come out. But we're doing something fun together too. We want to do a little shout out.
We're excited about it.
So we got together and we started talking about this interconnectedness and bringing people together. And it just sort of organically said, hey, the gallery that you were talking about, that you had mentioned, that was such a great space, the Jean Jacobs Gallery, and this fabulous art. What if Kahlo and Bedford and New Canaan Magazine and Jean Jacobs all got together? What would we do? We'll be sharing more information about that. We don't have to give too much away, do we?
No.
Unless,
we can tease
say?
it.
Yes.
That you should be there.
So Casey's going to be sharing some information about our event, and I'll be sharing. But the good news is that it's coming up, and we hope you join us.
Yeah.
But
Really
Casey,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for letting me spin you in the chair.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
excited to be here. I love this place. I think you have such a beautiful corner of Poundage, and that you've really, I think we are so excited about everything that is going on in all of these towns. The resurgence and really the renaissance that is taking place across what we call this readership, everywhere from Armonk to Wakabuk to Darien. We feel like there is this amazing thing that's happening, and by and large it's happening because of people like Tammy, who are really bringing these towns to life and putting your heart and soul into making that happen. So I hope you know that it doesn't go unnoticed. And that everybody really appreciates it. And I think that you've done a really beautiful job here in Poundage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so people, come on, get
Come on
out.
out.
And also just walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Meet your neighbors, right?
Yeah.
And
Enjoy these big sidewalks.
Enjoy the new sidewalks. And we'll
They're not even that new anymore. See you soon.
Bye.